Chapter 8. Transportation in Animals and Plants. You will learn the organs of circulatory system, function of human heart, human excretory system, function of kidneys, transportation of materials in plant. We need food, water and oxygen continuously for our very survival. Alongside, we produce lot of wastes in the form of carbon dioxide, sweat or in the form of nitrogenous wastes like urea, uric acid or ammonia. These also have to be collected and excreted out of the body. We can therefore conclude that there must be a system that transports material to the cells and also takes material away from cells. The system which help in transportation of materials in humans are called circulatory system and excretory system. Circulatory system consists of blood, limbs, blood vessel and heart. Blood. Blood is a red color connective fluid tissue. In all higher animals, blood travels in blood vessels, whereas in lower animals like fish, the blood travels openly on the surface of the tissue. Blood is made of various types of cells. The fluid part of the blood which makes it liquid is known as plasma. The cells of the blood are of three types: red blood cells or the RBCs, white blood cells or WBCs, and platelets. Red blood cells, they contain a red pigment called hemoglobin, which gives the red color to the blood. It contains iron. It is responsible in carrying oxygen from lungs to the cell and carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. RBCs also carry nutrients of the digested food from small intestine and pass them to all parts of the body. It carries wastes from cells to excretory organs. RBCs are round and biconcave in shape. They lack nucleus. White blood cells. They are irregularly ovoid or amoeboid in shape. They have played very important role in protecting our body from infection. They fight against infections and kill the germs. They have big nucleus size. They are few in number as compared to RBCs in the blood. They are known as soldiers of the body. Platelets. These cells help in blood clotting and stop bleeding when a wound occurs. Differences between RBCs and WBCs. RBCs. 1. Red in color. 2. Round or ovoid in shape. 3. More in number. 4. Has no nucleus. 5. Carry oxygen and nutrients to the cells and from the cells carbon dioxide and other waste products to the excretory organs. WBCs. 1. No color. 2. Ovoid or amoeboid in shape. 3. Less in number. 4. Have nucleus. 5. Fight the infection and protect our bodies from disease-causing germs. Blood circulation helps us in maintaining constant body temperature. It also circulates certain chemicals called enzymes and hormones to different parts of the body. Blood vessels. The blood flows through tubes called blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels. These are arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries. Blood vessels which go away from the heart are called arteries. They are thick-walled and inside space of the artery, which is called lumen, is small. All arteries except pulmonary artery carry oxygenated blood, that is blood carrying oxygen from the heart, and they transport the oxygen to each and every cell of the organism. The blood in arteries is bright red in color due to the presence of oxygen. They are situated deep in the body. Fascinating fact, the blood flows with high pressure in arteries with jerks. We can feel the flow of blood by feeling our pulse at radial artery, which can be located near our wrist. It is the artery that takes the blood towards thumb. The normal pulse rate is 70 to 75. Blood flows in arteries with high pressure due to the pumping of the heart. Veins. The blood vessels that take blood to the heart are veins. They are thin-walled with big lumen, that is more space inside the tube. The blood flows with less speed, so there is always a danger that it may flow backwards. To prevent this from happening, veins have valves in their lumen. Blood which has less oxygen appears blue in color. All veins except pulmonary vein carry deoxygenated blood and they appear blue in color. As the blood is going towards the heart and not pumped by the heart, the blood flows slowly without jerks. Veins are present just below the skin and hence they are superficial. You can see the veins of your hands. Capillaries. Arteries and veins located at an organ divide and redivide into thinner and thinner tubes so that blood reaches each and every cell. These blood vessels, which are very small and thin, one-celled thick, are called capillaries. Arteries at an organ divide and redivide. The blood through the ends of capillaries of arteries release the oxygen and nutrients to the cells. The cells receive these through diffusion. Similarly, from the cells, the capillaries unite and reunite to form the larger tube of vein. The wastes are pushed out into the veins which take away the deoxygenated blood, wastes, etc. Fascinating fact. The only artery that carries deoxygenated blood, that is blood with carbon dioxide and very less oxygen, is the pulmonary artery. This artery takes the blood from heart to lungs. The only vein that carries oxygenated blood, that is blood rich with oxygen, is the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. Heart. Heart is a muscular organ with its lower tip slightly tilted towards the left. It is a pumping organ located between the lungs. An average adult heart is about 12 centimeters in length at the longest. Its weight varies in men and women. In men, the average weight of heart is of 300 grams and in women, average weight of heart is about 250 grams. Human heart has 4 chambers. The upper 2 are called atria, that is, atrium is singular, and lower 2 chambers are called ventricles. The right side of the heart carries deoxygenated blood and the left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood. The right side atrium and ventricle are separated from the left side atrium and ventricle by a wall known as septum. Septum prevents the mixing of the 2 types of bloods. Right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from vena cava, that is veins from upper and lower body. The upper vein is called superior vena cava and the blood brought by the vein from the lower body is called inferior vena cava. This deoxygenated blood passes to lower chamber. The right ventricle sends the impure blood to the lungs where exchange of gases takes place, removal of carbon dioxide from blood and giving oxygen to the blood. The oxygenated blood then returns from the lungs to the left atrium. This pure blood is then pumped into the left ventricle. From there, it is taken to all the parts of the body through arteries. The biggest artery is aorta, which comes from the heart and then branches out. These arteries reach each and every part of the body to distribute oxygen and nutrients. Real like a neck. Material. Stethoscope. The tapping feeling of the pulse is caused by blood as it is pushed out by the heart. The pulse can be felt only in an artery as the blood here moves with pressure. How exactly does the blood flow? Contraction of atria is called systole. The blood goes to ventricles. From the ventricles, the blood is pumped into pulmonary artery, which is on the right side, and aorta, which is on the left side. But the blood never goes back to the upper chambers. This is because of the presence of valves present between atria and ventricles. These valves prevent the backflow of blood by sharply shutting off once the blood flows into ventricles. This produces the first heart sound, that is lump. Again, the atria expands to receive the second flow of blood and the cycle repeats. The expansion of chambers is known as diastole when the ventricles expand to receive the blood from the upper chambers. The valves of the pulmonary artery and aorta sharply shut to avoid backflow, which produces the second sound dub. Since the contracting and expanding of atria happens rhythmically, the heart seems to make the lub-dub sound. A. Pulmonary artery. B. Inferior vena cava. C. Right atrium. D. Pulmonary vein. E. Left ventricle. F. Aorta and its branches. As as the same blood is reaching heart twice, once to the right side of the heart from body and once to the left side of the heart from lungs. Human circulation of blood is known as double circulation. Fascinating fact. World's first human-to-human heart transplant was performed on 3rd December 1967 by a team of 30 doctors headed by Professor Kristen Bernard on a 55-year-old man in Cape Town in South Africa. The first heart transplant in India was on 42-year-old Devi Ram on 3rd August 1994 by Dr. Venu Gopal and his team. This was done in AIIMS, Delhi. The amount of blood that reaches the heart is only 70 ml, but the amount comes to heart 72 times in a minute. So the total amount of blood that reaches heart in a day is 7,200 liters. Heart beats over 1 lakh times in a day. The heart pumps 5 liters of blood per minute. An English physician, William Harvey, discovered the circulation of blood. Though he was ridiculed in the beginning, later it was accepted as a biological fact. Wonder why? Have you ever wondered how people with heart problems are made to undergo a test which gives them a record of their heartbeat? This record is called ECG. ECG or electrocardiogram is a graphic record of the heart. Any abnormality with heartbeat will be shown up in the electrocardiograph. Einthoven got Nobel Prize for his invention of ECG. Excretion in animals. Removal of waste from our body is known as excretion. Different organisms have different methods to remove their wastes. Unicellular organism, by simple diffusion, removes their waste. In higher animals, they have specific organs to remove their waste, the excretory organs. The excretory products are ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Ammonia is most toxic and requires large amounts of water for its elimination. So only aquatic animals like bony fishes, crocodile, prawn, and tadpole of frog can afford to eliminate it in the form of ammonia. Uric acid is at least toxic and it can be removed with a minimum loss of water. Insects, reptiles, and birds excrete their waste in uric acid form. Frogs, toads, and all mammals excrete waste in the form of urea, which is lesser toxic than ammonia but has to be removed from time to time. Human excretory system. Human excretory system comprises of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder, and a urethra. Kidneys. Kidneys are dark red in color and are bean-shaped and are the main organs to remove the wastes by filtration. All the blood goes through the kidneys. The blood that reaches the kidneys contains both useful and harmful substances. The useful substances are reabsorbed back into the blood. The wastes are dissolved in water and are removed from the body as urine. Ureters. From the kidneys, the urine goes into the ureters on either side of the kidneys. Ureters are tubes which connect kidneys with urinary bladder, a sac-like structure. Urine reaches urinary bladder through the ureters. Urinary bladder. The urine is stored for some time in the urinary bladder. Urethra. Urinary bladder ends in a muscular tube called urethra. Urine is passed out through the opening at the end of urethra. The adult human being excretes on an average 1 to 1.8 liters of urine per day. Various conditions can affect the characteristics of urine. Analysis of urine helps in understanding the disorder of kidney. Presence of glucose in urine indicates high blood sugar or diabetes. Diabetes or some other problems can lead to hemodialysis. Your patient's blood is drained into a dialysing unit where the blood is purified and clean blood is pumped back into the body. Skin as excretory organ. Sweat is an excretory product which is removed by skin. Skin has sweat pores which remove the sweat. Sweat contains water, salts, and little amounts of urea. Skin also helps in regulating temperature due to sweat production. The evaporation of sweat takes heat from the body and this results in cooling of the body. Transportation of substances in plants. Just as nutrients are transported in animals, plants also have a system in place for transportation of nutrients distributed, and the water and minerals are transported to all parts of the plant. Plants have two conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. Together these are called vascular tissues. Xylem conducts water and minerals from the roots to the other parts of the plant. Phloem conducts food from the leaves to the rest of the parts of the plant. The plant roots have root hairs. These root hairs absorb water along with minerals from the soil by osmosis. Osmosis is the process by which water passes through a membrane from higher concentration to lower concentration. In this case, the tissue acts as membrane and water from the soil passes into the cells of xylem. From root xylem, the water travels in upward direction till it reaches the tips of the tree. Xylem walls are made up special materials which allow the water to be pushed upwards through it against gravity. Transpiration, the excess water which is not utilized by the plant, is removed by the stomata of the leaves. This process of removal of excess water as water vapor from the stomata is known as transpiration. This process of evaporation of excess water through stomata generates a suction pull, the same as you suck the juice from the glass through straw. This is called transpiration pull. The transpiration pull, the root pressure and the xylem walls together make the water reach the upward parts of plant or tree. Transpiration also cools the plants. Translocation. Phloem helps in transporting food prepared by leaves. This food is transported to the other parts of the plant in the form of solution through a process called translocation. Phloem can send the food in both upward and downward directions as opposed to xylem, which can send water only in upward direction. Subject integration. During intense physical activity, an athlete needs to get oxygen and nutrients to all parts of his or her body. This means an athlete needs a healthy heart that can pump as much blood as possible, healthy blood that contains as much oxygen and nutrients as possible. Skills and values. Students will be able to describe how blood is transported in our body. They are able to understand how to keep healthy heart and kidney. They also understand that water is transported in leaves through veins. Rapid review. 1. For our survival, we need energy which is given out during respiration by the burning of food. The food is distributed to each cell by blood circulation. 2. The most important components for circulation are heart, blood, and blood vessels. 3. The blood vessels are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. 4. Arteries are thick-walled, take the blood away from the heart, and carry oxygenated blood except in pulmonary artery. 5. The veins are the blood vessels that carry blood which is deoxygenated towards heart. Only pulmonary vein contains oxygenated blood. 6. Heart is a muscular, four-chambered organ with deoxygenated blood on the right side and oxygenated on the left side, separated by septum. 7. Waste are removed through the excretory system. Failure or malfunctioning of the kidneys leads to many complications. 8. Plants also transport food, water, and minerals. This is achieved with the help of xylem and phloem. Key points. Plasma, the fluid part of the blood. Arteries, blood vessels which go away from the heart and carry pure blood. Veins, they are blood vessels which go to the heart and carry impure blood. Transpiration is the process of removal of excess water as water vapor from the plant through stomata. Translocation is transportation of food to parts of plants in the form of solution.